Okie dokie, we're back in action, and as you can see I've had to lay a cloth out so that you can see the rod against the background. Right, what's important now is obviously lining up your eye, making sure you've got the feet on it the right way round, so you want the double support towards the back or the butt end of the rod, and your single leg towards the tip end of the rod, because you've got more support that way. That's point number one. Point number two, obviously your eyes need to be in a straight line. So what we're going to do, peel off the masking tape off my mush, and wrap a ring of masking tape round. Now, you can put a wiggle or a squiggle or whatever, or just a little fold. Now you can come in a bit closer, just so that you've got something when you're ready and you need to pull that back off. If you wrap it on too tight and smooth, you won't be able to see it. Right, okay. Out you go again. Right, so if you look down the length, you can see that that eye now is pretty much as perfectly in line as you're going to get it. As long as you can see the other ones through the hole in the middle, that's fine. Now,
looking good.
At this stage, while you're sort of prepping your other bits, because you want to get a few bits ready, you can just stick another loop of tape on there just to give it a little bit of support. Okay, so the next thing you're going to get ready is your silk. And there is, I mean, I've done mine in the past with just ordinary cotton, but that gets a bit hairy. I've also varnished them with ordinary furniture varnish, but then it does get quite a bristly surface, but it does the job. However, whipping silk is nice and very, very smooth, and it's hard to really show you just how smooth that is in comparison to sewing cotton that you'd stitch your clothes up with. But it's got a kind of shine to it. You might be able to see it a bit more on that one. You can see the light gleaming off of that. So there's a range of colours that you can choose from, and how you do that and what you do is sort of up to you. Right, what we're going to quickly do is just set this up now. So we're going to nick that bit of masking tape off of there and get it out of the way, because we're now ready to start our whip. So what you want to do now is get a nice clean unfrayed end, ideally. Scissors would be better. That is a little bit more frayed than I would like. Normally clean end, but I haven't got any scissors to hand, unfortunately. So what we're going to do now, you've got to whip from that side to this side. So, or you could whip from that side to that side. Either way, you'll do either the way I'm going to do it, or you just have to reverse it. You might prefer to do it the other way if you're left-handed, for example. Yeah, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to do it this way. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my thread there, in line with the eye, and put a bit of masking tape on there to hold it there. Can you see that?
Yep. Okay,
right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to nick my mate's idea, who also posted on the site, of a V in a shoebox. Normally what I would do is I would actually set up my fishing pod, my carp pod, and I put it on rod rests because they're a bit further apart, but that spins quite nicely, if you can see that. So that will do the job. Now all I'm going to do now, you might want to stand up and get over the top of this so that you're looking down on it. Yeah, I'm going to put, if you can see, that's the end of the eye. You want about 10 mil past the end of the eye. So I'm going to put my finger there, and I'm going to loose spin that one revolution, he says, hopefully, trying to hold that in place. And then what I want is I want that first ring to cross over.
Right.
Don't know if you saw that or not. And now we've got a second ring. Yeah?
Yep.
Crossing over. So now we've got 2 loops past the crossover. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, get that out of the way. So now you want to just hold that tight and revolve the rod a few turns. Now, once you've done that, bring that back in line. Sometimes you could do with about 6 pairs of hands. So what we're going to do now is, if you've got a fingernail, yeah, is you're going to pull those loops up close. So revolve it a piece at a time and just bring those loops up to a nice clean end so there's no horrible gaps. Yeah? And then it's simply a case of spinning it round so that it backs up against the previous coil and you get no gaps. Now, that can be nice and tight, and this is very difficult, so we'll keep pushing that back with the old finger to keep it as uniform as we can. Now you can appreciate there's a few gaps because I'm hurrying. Now this is the difficult bit. When you get to the foot, you've got to revolve that slowly as it starts to nudge up over the nose of the foot, of the eye. Right, can you just take the camera away a fraction, Ben, because the camera so far I can't see what I'm doing. So, just roughly, I'm going to spin this quickly. There's going to be a few gaps, you'll have to forgive me. But essentially, what you're trying to do is keep that all in line, but what I want to show you, so you now revolve that. Obviously, you're going to have to revolve this quite a lot of times, yeah? So imagine that's all perfect and beautiful and
no gaps.
No gaps. And then you'll get to your last coil that's at the root of the foot, and then all I do, because the whipping is holding the foot on, we can do 2 things. We can now take that off, and we can now unpeel the other side of the foot, he says hopefully, and it won't fall off. And then you just take your whipping diagonally across, and I'm in trouble because my reel's fallen down. Right, can you see that diagonally across? It's gone diagonally across to the next one, and then all you're doing now is revolving it round and round and round, exactly the same as you did on the other one, keeping the spirals tight one after the other, wind, 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 until you get to about the end of the foot. So when you get to the end of the foot, what you're going to do now, where's that other red still? So what you want to do now is you just want to make a loop. Now, let's take that pin out for a second. I'm not going to cut this because I don't want to waste it, if you'll forgive me. But you want to make a loop 6 to 8 inches long. If I put that against the white, so about 6 to 8 inches long, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can see that okay.
Yep.
And what you're going to do is you're going to lay that loop across there. Take the tip of it. This is what happens when you rush. Try not to rush. So take the end of the loop there. Yeah.
Try and tension it.
Keep it uniform so that the loop runs past there. Now bearing in mind you've got whipping already up to here, so now you want to continue your whipping over the top of that loop to about 10 millimeters. Okay?
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
So once you've whipped up to there, you then need to hold that whipping tight, leave yourself about a 3-inch tag, or a 2-inch tag minimum, yeah? Poke the 2-inch tag through that loop, yeah?
Okay.
Hold, and then you'll pull that loop through the whipping, and that will pull the loose tag underneath the whipping